Welcome back to our collection highlights series. Today we're looking at something you might easily miss if you walked past it. Tucked away in a quiet corner of the museum is a map, an unassuming sheet of pins and markings that chart every bomb and aircraft that fell across Dorset during the Second World War. At first glance, it looks a little bit like someone spilled a box of drawing pins across the county, but every single one of those pins represents an explosion, a crash, or a few terrifying moments somewhere between 1940 and 1945. This is a reproduction of the map originally kept by the Dorset Constabulary, used to record the positions of bombs and aircraft incidents, which were reported day by day by local members of the Royal Observer Corps. But even with that level of care and detail, many small anti-personnel bombs never made it onto the record, so even this seemingly comprehensive map doesn't give us the full picture. As you can see, the south of Dorset took the brunt of the attacks. Poole, Weymouth and Portland, home to naval bases, military infrastructure and industrial sites, were all obvious targets for the Luftwaffe. But Dorset also suffered for a simpler reason. It was in the way. If you were a German bomber heading to Bristol, Dorset lay directly beneath your flight path. And if you were a damaged bomber trying to limp back across the Channel, Dorset was often the last stretch of England you'd see. So dropping any remaining bombs on the county was frequently survival more than any sort of strategy. Get rid of the weight and hope that aircraft holds together just a little longer. In 1941, Brownsea Island was even fitted out with decoy lights in an attempt to draw attacks away from populated areas. But still, the human cost was significant. Across the county, 280 people were killed, 237 seriously injured, and 358 slightly injured. Families, neighbours, and entire communities changed forever. And the pins themselves tell an incredibly varied story. High explosive bombs, unexploded bombs, delayed action bombs, incendiaries, often dropped in clusters, parachute mines, British aircrafts crashed, German aircrafts brought down, and incidents both on land and in the sea. It's a remarkable amount of activity for what many think of as a quiet rural county. In total, there were 4,307 high explosive bombs, 396 unexploded high explosive bombs, 37,007 incendiary bombs, 54 British aircrafts crashed, and 90 German aircrafts downed. And the legacy of that bombardment still surfaces today. Suspected unexploded bombs and ordnance are frequently discovered across the county, especially around Studland Bay, Weymouth Beach and Chesil Beach, where tides and erosion often reveal lost ordnance. In 2024, explosive ordnance disposal teams were called to Lilliput in Poole after an unexploded bomb was reported below the waterline. And last May, both Dorchester's recycling centre and water treatment facility were evacuated when a suspected Second World War tank round was found near the tip. And then there's Bournemouth. Not part of Dorset at the time, but its wartime story sits very much alongside it. The first bomb fell just after midnight on the 3rd of July 1940, on a house at Sellers Farm Road in Southbourne. From then on, the town endured 51 air raids, with more than 2,270 bombs and incendiaries dropped. Bournemouth fared better than many large towns, though the consequences were still devastating, with 221 deaths, 514 injured, over 13,000 properties damaged, and 246 homes destroyed beyond repair. This map provides more than just a record of wartime activity. It gives us a real sense of how deeply the war reached into Dorset. Its coastline, its towns, its people. Each pin marks an event, but together they tell a story of resilience, loss, and the everyday realities of living under the shadow of war. If you've enjoyed this look into our collection, don't forget to leave a like. And if you'd like to explore more stories from Dorset and Devon's military past, be sure to subscribe. Thank you to the National Lottery Heritage Fund and to National Lottery Players, who have made this video and videos like this possible.